From Faith to Fortune, A Businessman's Divine Path is the story of a person who lost everything in his life but with his faith in God and struggles, achieves everything more than expected. By explaining his story, he said, "My condition was not good then. I had gone mad at least. I was constantly taking long breaths. My family got worried. They were worried that I lost my mind, and those problems drove me crazy. It's done. If you see me at that time, I would have understood this when I came home. I went to pray to God and started apologizing for my stupidity. And let it be right till that time God accepts me as his own." When he told this story, there were tears in his eyes. He used a tissue to clean the corners of his eyes and mouth repeatedly. I asked him how he knew that God had forgiven you. This brought a smile to his face. He said that if he is angry with you, your heart becomes heavy. It feels like there is something heavy on your chest. The stone has been placed and you are carrying the burden of that stone. The bottom is pressing inside you. And when God is pleased with you, the burden on your heart goes away and you feel lighter inside. And he took a deep breath. Further telling his story, he said, "I asked my wife if something valuable was left at home, which could be sold for a few thousand rupees. She looked at me strangely and was thinking, because I have sold every valuable item in the house in the last 6 months. My wife gave me her handmade gold bangles. I went to the market and I sold those bangles. The bangles sold for 22,000 rupees, from which I gave 3,000 as charity and got 19,000 rupees. Again, I went to the market that day. I bought 3 lakh rupees of thread. I purchased the thread for Rs 18,000 and got a time of 3 days for the remaining amount. I took food for my kids worth 1,000 and went home. I have been doing business for 15 years. I used to be worried after every deal. The fear of loss was hanging in the heart. But this was the first time in my life, after which the powers of doubt within me did not extend, because I am sure this deal got me back on my feet. I placed food in front of my children. When I kept it, tears came out of his eyes. We got food after 3 days. We went to sleep peacefully and woke up the next day to the reality. The day was new, and the price of my goods had increased in the warehouse. The same shopkeeper from which I bought the thread offered 25,000 rupees as profit, but I refused to make this profit. By evening, the profit reached 1 lakh, and the next day it could be Rs 1.5 lakh. Now just imagine, I just invested 18,000 on that and I was making a profit of Rs 1.5 lakh. Now I shipped my goods, charity 10,000 rupees, and took food of 2,000 and reached home. On the next day, I bought festival clothes worth Rs 5 lakh. 1 lakh money is given in advance and the remaining balance is for repayment within 3 days. During that period, 2.5 lakh rupees were saved, but this profit was not my real profit. My real profit was a contract with a manufacturing factory. The jeans manufacturing factory asked me for supply. They contacted a company from America for jeans. I had got a huge contract for jeans. I supplied them with clothes daily for 6 months. They gave me an advance amount and I would have supplied the clothes. God blessed me and I was on my feet in 1 month. I stood up and started paying the loan. I also returned my wife's bangles. And I will live fully, restore my life, and achieve success in my life. Then he stopped, took a deep breath, and said, "Today I am a famous businessman in Faisalabad." I decided to talk with great respect and be silent. During this time he kept rubbing his hands, looking towards the sky so that he could thank God, and wiping his wet eyes. He is a person who lost all of his wealth, everything in his office sold, and a time reached when he did not even have money to buy food. But then he started again and never lost hope. I wanted to know how he reached from 18,000 to 18 crore and then so on. They told me this story. He used to breathe for a long time and then suddenly he raised his voice and said that in my bad time, I was making the same mistake as the world's most people do. I will go to my friends, loved ones, and relatives, those who know me and are vocal, and then I ask for their help. Some of my friends also helped me, but in bad times every help turned out to be evil, and I also lost that money. My friends make a distance from me. They would change their path after seeing me or refuse to recognize me. I was very disappointed with their attitude, but then one day, I reached the point of understanding my issue. And I felt that the trouble was from God, and if I go to God for this, God will bless me. I thought how stupid a person I was. Instead of coming near God and asking for help or mercury, go to people's doors and bags, and this made the situation worse. Now I pray to God and ask for help. God blessed me and all my troubles ended. He advised me to pray to God with complete faith in every trouble and see how God solves all your problems.